Well, good morning. Welcome to the Dean's Corner. It's particularly beautiful today, and at this time of year, I think gives us all a great deal of satisfaction that we work at the University of West Florida right here in Pensacola. I've been trying to highlight faculty members and some of their works and even some of their background. So today we have Dr. Steve LeMay with us. And Dr. LeMay, how are you today?
I am well, thank you, sir.
Great. You've been so prolific in your research and you have a myriad of interests, and I was wondering if you wanted to share with us a little bit about recent publications or even something you've been working on.
I think first of all, I would argue that my job since I left high school has been pretty much the same, and that is I'm supposed to know things and tell people about it. So college professoring is right in keeping with that. More recently, I've taken an interest in supply chain ethics, and it seems like a pretty narrow field, but it also turns out to be one where some institutions actually have PhDs in the subject.
Dr. LeMay, I think that's fascinating, and I believe we need to just do a whole session where we talk about what's going on. Supply chain is fascinating, and ethics, I think, is something that's of such importance. I don't want to miss this opportunity to ask you about a couple of things.
Sure.
I'm fascinated with your background, that you were the golf pro program at Mississippi State. I forgive that, Mississippi State, but I noticed that in your background you've done some maybe high-level work, and you're fluent in Russian. So could you share just a little bit of tip? I think that was an interesting springboard into education.
As I said, my job since high school has been know things and tell people about it. I was a journalist and got my degree in journalism at Northwestern University. But really, right as I graduated, I went into the Air Force, and the Air Force decided, despite the fact that I had carefully avoided languages as an undergraduate, the Air Force decided I needed to learn Russian. I did 31 combat missions, and they taught me things like how to jump out of perfectly good airplanes, and I ended up visiting places like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Possibly the wildest tale I have that's easy to convey about that one was a trip we took with the driver was what I would call a bodyguard for a man who considered himself the Don of Samarkand. If you think in terms of mobsters, he got his ideas about how capitalists were supposed to work from watching 1930s mafia movies.
Well, I will say I'm impressed. I think both you and I would have admiration that he had hair to slick back.
Yes, well, there was that, because he did have hair. It made it slick straight back. Very late at night, driving from Samarkand toward Tashkent, and Uzbekistan has divided 4-lane highways that look a lot like I-10, except there's no traffic. And in the middle of the night, this guy's driving a Lada, I think 1985 Toyota Corolla. So it was limited access to cars, but it wasn't limited access to goats. So periodically we would be doing the goat slalom. There would be a herd of goats crossing the road. We're at midnight going about 160 kilometers an hour, about 100 miles an hour, and doing that. We're commenting to each other that, all these goats, and we haven't seen any roadkill. Pause that remark. A little later, we're at a dinner in Kazakhstan. We've run out of Uzbekistan, we're in Kazakhstan, and there's a bunch of people sitting around the table that don't speak Russian. Our host comes in, and he's holding up a pheasant. Now we're at a table piled up with all kinds of food. He's holding up a pheasant, and he says, "This is tomorrow's dinner." I hit it with my car. We went, "Well, are we eating at the Roadkill Cafe?"
Well, Dr. LeMay, I want to thank you for your service to the country, and especially your service now at the university to our students and to your colleagues. So thank you very much for taking time to visit with us today, and I think we'll try to do an extended interview with you about your fascinating past.
Well, I surely appreciate it. I enjoyed it, and very happy to be here at the University of West Florida.
Well, let's have a great week, everyone.